Hi, this is Margaret Fetty at the University of Sewing, and today we're going to talk about putting together your multi-spool holder. It's a little challenging if you've never done it before. It's actually not hard, but there's a few things that I think this video is going to cover and help make this easier for you. So that's the multi-spool holder. And with the multi-spool holder, you are going to get a nice little manual with it. Now, when you get this multi-spool holder, what it has in it is it has all the different machines that this will fit on, and there's different adapters for each one of the machines. So if you open up this to page 27, you will see it mentions the 780, the 750, and the 710. Well, today we're going to put this on a 790. This also will fit on our 735, our 740, our 770, and our 790. And this has adapters for each one of those. This is the only adapter we need for this machine, but it has other adapters in here so you can use it with other machines. So if you go through here, you would also see you could put it on an 880. You can put it on the Auroras and the Artistas. So there's a lot of different machines that this will fit on. You just have to use the proper adapters. And if you take a look right here, it's showing you two little screws and this kind of box looking thing. So I'm going to show you those first, and then we're going to show you where all these pieces and parts fit in. So the one little screw, this little white plastic with a screw coming out of it, it looks like this. So hopefully that's visible and you can see that. And we're going to put it in here. There's two screws in the back of your, 7 series machine. And all you have to do is just hand screw these in. There you go. And you don't want to necessarily screw these in tight. Just get them in there just until you can't see the screw in here anymore. You just want to get them in there just barely. And the reason for that is when you put this part on, see this right here? That's going to go over those two screws. So it's going to go on here like this. There's going to be this interesting little plate thing in the front, and there's where your threads go through. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just slide this onto it and see how that clicks. And the reason I'm not making that super tight is because what I don't want it to do is I don't want it to, if I get it too tight, I won't be able to put this on. So but see how it's wiggling a little bit? I can go back in here with my screwdriver and I can tighten that up a little bit. And there you go. It's nice and snug. And if you wanted to get in and screw the other one in, you could take one of those little small screwdrivers like you can use for your sewing machine, because it's just a Phillips head. So that all fits on there really nicely. Now, this is the main part of this spool holder. That's the centerpiece. And see how we have this piece right here? Well, the reason that the telescoping part goes right there is because when we put this on, and we're going to slide that in like that, the telescoping part's going to fit right here in front on the Bernina. And that is going to sit right like this, and our telescoping part's going to be right here. So this is the metal telescoping part. On one side, it's kind of clear and empty. On the other side, it has a place for a screw to go in. And what we're going to do is put this in here. So I'm actually going to take this back off because I don't want to do it on here. I'm going to put this in here. Now, you don't just set it there. You actually push it in to this, and it goes into this big hole. And so you want to make sure that's pushed in as far as it'll go. And then what you're going to do is you can just turn it upside down. And I'm holding with my left hand, and I'm dropping this little screw. Now, I'm going to just point out something to you. This screw has a star top on it, which means it needs a torque screwdriver for it. And the one it's actually going to use is a torque 20. Now, you may not have a torque 20 at home, What you can do is, you saw how easily this comes on and off. It's not going to get in, it's not going to be on there any more secure. And what you could do is, if you don't have a Torque 20, you could go to your local Menards or local Home Depot and get one. But you don't even have to do that, because I'm pretty certain that your Bernina dealer would be happy to screw this on for you. So we're going to take and put that screw on. It's nice and secure. But you know what? If you don't have a Bernina dealer handy for you all the time, maybe you have to drive to them. All you have to do is just wait. If you get this in here secure before that, it's not really going to go anywhere unless you're just pretty aggressive with it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to slide this piece, and there's like a little plastic bit that sticks out, and it's going to slide right into there. And these two pieces are going to go under these little flaps. And look at that. It's all ready to go. Now, we can just put this on top. There we go. That part's all ready to go now. And the last bit that we have to do is, we can go ahead and put our little spools holders in here. And what you're going to see is, you're going to get this bag. It's a thing that had all your screws in it. And it has this little bit right here. And you go up from underneath and you put this in. Now, I'm going to give you a little tip. See how that went on there? And then it just slides right on here. And there it is right here. Now, once you put these in, they're not necessarily the easiest thing to get out. You can get them out, but it does take some real effort. So kind of think about which ones you want in and where you want them. And what I will tell you, since I use Isacore thread for my embroidery, I would probably, on these outside pieces, only put one in the center, because then what I can do is I can put this right on here and see how nice that sits on there. So what you can also do then is, you can put these in here, and you just have to snap it in place. And sometimes they come out easier than other times, but my whole point of this is that you want to think about where these are going and what placement you're doing with them, because since they aren't the easiest necessarily to pull in and out, you don't necessarily want to put so many of these in here, and then you want to remove them, and then you get into a big trouble with that. So what I would do is, I would think about, where are my spools going to go? What am I going to do with them? And how many of these big spools do I want to be putting on here? So again, all I have to do to get those on, now see, that one's harder to go on. But you know what? I'm just going to point out to you once again, this all comes apart. So what I can do is, I can take that off. I can pull this straight up, and then I can go in here and see where this is having a little bit of trouble going in. You can either get somebody with stronger hands, which I might end up doing, or you can just push a little harder. So, but it's easier to do when it's not actually on the machine. So you can go ahead, put some of these in place, test it out, see whether you like it, whether you want to add more. But again, it just goes on so easily. All we have to do is just push it on like that. We'll put our other two pieces on, and you can make a decision whether these are in the right spots for you or not. Maybe you don't want these wings on. It doesn't matter. You can take them off. It's really easy. You're also going to get some of these, and what you may or may not want to do is use them. See, they won't work with the Isacore thread. The Isacore thread can just sit on there. But if you've got an actual cone that you want to put on there, if you get a big cone of Isacore thread, that'll be useful. Now, look here and notice that I have a number of things that are left over. The reason I have leftovers is because we didn't need these for the other, they were for other machines. So these are all available to you for a variety of machines. But we're going to put these back in our bag. We're going to go ahead and set it away, and we should be good to go. If you need to move your machine, just remember this all lifts straight up. If you don't want this on there, say if you're going to an event, what you can do is just pull this all off. You can put your telescoping down. These can come off if they need to, but this is pretty easy to go ahead and transport anywhere. So you want to think about that. So if you're going to go to a retreat or you're going to go to a class and you want to take this with you, take this off before you put it in your bag, because you don't want to mess it up. And again, this just pulls straight up. So you can put it back on really easily, and you are good to go for your retreat or event. So I hope that makes this more understandable. Oh, by the way, yes, that will continue to pop back off. So we'll put that back on and pull it up. So when you're taking and telescoping up and down, it might make more sense to do it on the metal. So if there's any questions you have about doing this, you can always ask me. And again, as I said, it does work for a lot of different machines. And if you're worried about if it works on your machine or not, look on the back of your machine. Do you have 2 little drilled out holes and a place for the screws to go in? If you do, then this will fit onto your machine. There is an adapter that'll work. So I was just looking at the back of our 475. We could even put this on the back of a 475. I'm not sure why you'd need it on the 475 because it doesn't do embroidery, but you could put it on the back of that. I know it'll fit on the 5 series, and I know it'll fit on the 7 and 8 series. So they have the adapters to work on each one of those different size machines. So this is a really handy piece to have, and if you would like one, you can always purchase one from us at the University of Sewing. Have a great day, everybody.